So you're on second place now. You must be happy with that. Are we looking at championship?
No. We're just trying to win the next game. No, it's a long way to go. After 5 games, we've had a good, decent start. But, it's important for us to, try and maintain it. The consistency is the most important thing.
Okay. You must be very relieved after what happened last season.
Yeah, if you take everything into consideration last season, I think we had a good season. We came second with all the problems we had, and the problem we had was playing Champions League. We couldn't freshen the squad up, and we had to keep some players, and then we had a horrendous injury list, which was, everybody has the same problems, but it really hit us last year, and then obviously losing 1 or 2 good players again affected us.
How would you look at the start of the season, given the way the season ended last season, with the competitiveness between the top teams, and that seems to have spiraled over into this season?
Our last, I think, 7 games last year we were unbeaten. So we're on a bit of a decent run. We lost the top 8 game this year quite badly. Well, the scoreline reflection was bad, but it wasn't that bad. If you look at the context of the game. And we're determined again. I think the attitude's right again in the players. And we've got some good players in, decent players in. Can make us much better and much more competitive. Again, we've got a big injury list through real freak excellence. John Arua and Zuma and people like that, big injuries. So let's see how we go.
Okay, how do you cater for those injuries? It's
obviously, I think you win the league with your bench. Really, realistically, and if your bench is strong, I think your team is strong.
Okay.
And it's no good looking down the bench and seeing you don't want to make a change when you want to. Now we're making changes and they're changing the game.
Okay.
And that's really what you want. But I think we've certainly beefed up in areas that we needed, except maybe one position, maybe 2, but certainly one position, which was very difficult. I couldn't find anything. There was decent players out there, but I didn't think anything was good enough for us.
What position is that?
Well, the left-hand side. We've really struggled. Since we've lost Dan Clayton, we've lost him.
Yeah.
We've lost. And we brought the young team last year, and I put a lot of pressure on him last year.
Okay.
And it didn't work out. So now I've got a youngster now that come through, but he's not quite ready yet, but I think he'll be an answer for us.
Okay.
Does it help that you when people talk about the championship this season, everyone seems to focus on the other teams? Does it help that you? No one is talking about you.
It upsets me because I don't think we got enough credit for winning 3 times. There's no way Orlando Pirates will win the league 3 times in a row. No chance. Yeah. What we did, a club of our size, it's phenomenal. But I don't think we've been given enough credit. If you look like Orlando Pirates who won the league last year, you would think they won the European Championships. But at the end of the day, they are a big club, much bigger than we are. But if they can achieve it 3 times, then I'll take my hat off. But we did it 3 times with our team, and our no supporters and not a big support base, and sort of under the radar. So again, just getting back to your question, I think it's important for us to stay under the radar, stay out the way, and then when people look again, we're on the final straight.
What would you say? Is let me rephrase. How would you describe the league with all this massive TV rights and all that has happened in terms of improvements on outside of the pitch? To what extent has that affected the performance of the pitch technically and otherwise?
I think the awareness has grown in the game much more with the television coverage.
Yeah.
I think that's really one area, the awareness of the brands and the publicity of the players and things like that. I think that's grown. I think the one area of the game that hasn't grown is the facilities. And you can tell me about the World Cup facilities. I think there's a major problem with facilities. The standard of the pitches, the training ground facilities need to improve no end, because that's where you work on a daily basis. We need our training facilities to get better. And I think the clubs should be under pressure from the league to keep their licenses to play in the PSL. They should have certain criteria in place, like facilities, training facilities. And until you get that, I don't think the league, I think the improvement's going to be slow, but I think you're going to have a much better injection of your youth will be better, your training facilities will be better, everything will become better, your techniques, your passing, your crossing, your shooting, because of the standards of your training pitches. And I think it's a major problem in this country.
Okay.
And I think it's something that we missed in the World Cup.
Okay.
And your assessment of the players in the league. I mean, you had
Well,
players.
I think it's a league that's
Yeah.
the players are very small, weak, good athletes, good, but I think it could be so much better if I think the leagues around Africa, if you look at the leagues around Africa, there's much more strength, power, and I think that's one of the reasons why we don't do well in the Champions League.
Okay, final question. What are your realistic expectations for the season? By the way, your chairman speaks highly of you.
Does he? Okay. No, I think our expectations, I don't think it changes. I think I've always looking at one eye on the ball and one eye in the future.
Yeah.
So I always look like that. I always look for, if I left the club tomorrow, would the club be in a good standing? Now most coaches wouldn't worry about that. They're worried about getting results and looking after their jobs. But I look after. I try to see the future with young players, and I obviously try to look after the present.
Okay.
The present obviously is the most important because we need to maintain our standards, and I think we need to keep hold of our best players. That's certainly what we need to do. I know it's difficult in the financial market, and I know the chairman and everybody tries their best, but I think it's very, very difficult because we're always losing players to the 3 big clubs in South Africa.
One last question. You came close to leaving the club at the end of last season. The club, a lot of players have left in the recent past. When you look at the fact that you won 3 back-to-back titles and you're up again challenging for the title, what is it that motivates you to
Well, I always tell my players on a daily basis, if you lose your motivation to come to training, to win 5-a-sides at training, then you mustn't play football. I think for me it's a daily thing to motivate myself, to motivate the team, to motivate everybody to maintain standards, to maintain professionalism, intensity of your training, and trying to improve. Even though it might be in small steps, but on a daily basis, we need to improve on a daily basis. And that's my mentality. If you don't have that mentality and the players don't fit in with my mentality, then they must move out. They go to other clubs. But our club, we've got to maintain high standards
Okay,
from all those aspects.
Okay, coach, thanks a lot. Wish you all for the season.
Thank you.